Am I in the whole thing?
You can't tip this at all, huh?
No, don't tip it. Don't tip it.
Okay.
Sorry, it's...
It's alright. Yeah, you're the very top of your head is just right at the top of the frame. It's the very top of your head's cut off. You can see your face. Oh yeah, maybe if we just move this. There we go. It's okay. Looks good.
Welcome to the show. I'm live on Golden Road YouTube.
Where's your,
I'll do another song. Those aren't plugged in at all. I hate when people unplug everything here.
you want this door closed?
What's that?
You want this door closed?
Yeah.
I have my own radio program also.
Do you?
Not here.
Where do you?
But I've
where's
been a
yours?
guest co-host here for Indigenous Peoples Day.
Oh yeah, right.
And for
Here. Oh, sorry. Plug those in.
Does that have a longer cord?
No, that's it.
Longer cord.
Here, switch with Mignon here. Just when I'm talking, I don't want to be too noisy in here if we can. Okay. Getting ready is always a little bit hectic. Night first, before we do that first song.
oh, I'm just saying, is this mine mic?
Yes,
For talking.
yes. And three's there, great. Okay, here we go. Everyone's headphones are on. And good afternoon, Gold Country and Sierra Foothills. It's 5:02, and you are tuning in to KVMR FM in Nevada City. And you are listening to the Golden Road radio show. This is our Earth Day special Sunday showcase. And we have a blockbuster show of live in-studio performers and speakers, some who are going to be here in the flesh and others who will be calling in. But if you're listening to this show, there's going to be a lot of great and relative and pertinent information about things that are happening around our region regarding the environment, whether it has to do with non-toxic communities and Roundup, digestive health, if you want to know more about community resilience, also about Indigenous women's issues, geoengineering, emergency preparedness. Honored to have in the studio performing live today, Mignon Gelly. So I'm going to let Kate Wolf take it out, and we'll be back, and we'll start the show with Poyom Riles, a local civil engineer, and he has some really interesting stuff about a new directory to tell you about. Enjoy the show.
Line one is Michael, your guest.
Thank you.
I answered it and put him on hold for you.
Hello. Hello? 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 Must be good. You and I will. I'm gonna have to play another song. I don't know who Michael is. Hello? 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 Who's it? Who's this? Who? Okay, hold on. I'm going to have you on in just a couple minutes, Lou. Hold on. I'm just finishing a segue. Hold on just a minute, please. So we're going to bring Lou into the conversation.
Great.
Okay. Here we go. We're going live. You're number 5. so much great show to play it. So we want to welcome all of you to Golden Road TV and radio show. TV because we broadcast a 2-hour show every week on YouTube. Check it out, Golden Road TV and radio. And we also broadcast on cable across 10 counties. Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Michael DiMartino. I'm happy to be here. And if you're by a mean of communication, let people know to go to kvmr.org right now and listen to the show, because we have 2 hours of blockbuster content and information for you regarding the earth and regarding quality of life. So my first guest is here, and I also have a guest on the line, but I want to welcome to the show Payom Riles.
Hey, Michael, thanks for inviting me.
So you've been pretty busy lately.
I have been busy, that's true.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that we have Lou Casabianca on the line. All right, great, Lou. So we're going to do a little three-way conversation here, but let's start a little bit with Lou Casabianca. He is the co-founder of the Green Festival, and we will have Kevin Donaher on the show later on today, calling in all the way from Quincy, up in the foothills. But with our Earth Day show, we wanted to talk a little bit about the idea of community resilience, and I know that this is a topic that we've talked about a lot over the past with you, but for those who have never heard of it, can you give a little background of what that means and maybe a little bit of a history?
Happy Earth Day.
Right, and of course, the electric grid is just one aspect. Of course, there's a lot of other things like emergency preparedness, food and water security. And I know our other guests will be talking here in a few minutes. Payom Riles, would you like to share a little bit about your work as a hydrologist and how that's relative to community resilience and sustainability?
Yeah, we in my field, we work with sustainability and resilience quite a bit. Some of the projects that I work on are, reusing wastewater in places where there isn't a lot of water supply, and learning how to manage that, and that helps to build resilience in a region. So this, even outside of my field, that regular people can do things. Even just I know one of the things, Lou, that you've talked about before is just people having the understanding of the importance, just knowing that in case there's an emergency, you're prepared and ready to bring certain things with you, and that can go a long way in making a community more resilient.
And also, you were talking about water, too, and I think one of the things is that we're seeing the systems that we have in place now don't work. And there's been a huge movement. And today, besides just talking about the problems, I really want to focus on some ideas, alternatives, and solutions, because that's what we try to do through Golden Road, is give people some insight and options. So I know with the water issue, a lot of counties now are looking and exploring into actually composting toilets and not having to drain the water reserves for basically just for basic sanitation.
I think that there is I don't remember exactly which county, but that they're working on new legislation, Napa County,
Yep.
where yeah, they're working to develop a regulatory system for composting toilets. Yeah.
And Lou, what are some other things that we can look at as far as some really simple solutions that people can be more prepared for not just emergencies, but also more resilient as a lot of these systems begin to crumble and change? Well, what's that? Oh, and that's so interesting because I know yesterday there was a big community dialogue around gun violence in schools and what should we do and sharing insights and ideas. And a lot of times people think that children are basically ignorant or they're, be seen, not heard. And that starts very early in a lot of the Western style of education and kind of indoctrination. But what was interesting to me is that a lot of the people who have brought this whole issue up about school and gun violence were actually the kids taking the initiative. So I really agree, and I love what you're saying about we have to educate ourselves, but also educate the children, and to take in the full picture and be prepared for the things and the changes that can happen. And And of course, that's a huge consideration for people in California with earthquakes, and as people in Puerto Rico or in Texas or Haiti have found out, and some of them are still suffering the results. So let's do this. We're going to go to some music here in a minute. I don't want to have too heavy talk. We get a lot of that in the world, but nonetheless, we wanted to have you on the show because I know in a very short time you can express a lot and help really inspire and educate people. If they would like more information, what is your organization and contact if people would like to know more about your work? Fantastic. Well, Lou, I know you're busy. You have your hands in a lot of exciting projects regarding global warming, but thank you for your time, and I'm sure we'll be talking again soon. And on that note, I'm going to turn it over to the band 10 Years After with, again, music with a message, and the message is in the music. So you're listening to Golden Road Birthday Special here at KVMR, and we'll be back in just a minute with Payom Riles, and we have our next guest, Kathleen Halal, who is working with the Roundup Band statewide and non-toxic communities. So hope you're enjoying the show. That's her. Kathleen? Hello? Hello, Kathleen? Okay, hold the line 1 sec. I'm going to get you right on here. Thanks. So I'm going to talk about the directory really quick. You can just say, as an engineer, you know, I've seen this disconnection that you like really get to think building bridges, talk about McLeod connecting stuff, and then she has like 10 minutes, so we'll get Kathleen on the show.
Okay.
Sorry if you're not actually hearing the feed of the guests on the phone, but you can go to kvmr.org and listen, or Golden Road TV YouTube channel and watch the rebroadcast. So after our next little talk session, we're going to have you play. You're all dialed in.
Yeah, we need to test it.
Okay.
So while you're...
Why don't you test it right now?
Yeah,
I got all the
okay.
mics off.
Testing, testing. Too loud. Testing, testing. Try something slow.
Uh-oh. 20% battery. Battery. Low battery. 20%.
Okay, that's good. That's good. You happy with that? Okay, we're gonna go live, and I'll call you in just a few minutes. And a little bit of
I think it would
music
be
from the
delay if I
band 10
listened.
Years After. 50 years later, the message is still in the music, and they're singing the songs, and to work our way towards a more compassionate and kind and an environmental friendly culture. If you're just tuned in, you're listening to the Golden Road radio show here on KVMR. Thanks for joining us for our Earth Day special. And I just want to make sure, I think I have Kathleen Halal on the line. Are you there, Kathleen? Great, thank you so much. So give us a second, we're going to get right over to you. And I'm also in the studio live here with Payom Riles, who is a civil engineer, and also amazing native flute player, artist, activist, Mignon Gelly, who will be performing. I'll keep the praise to a minimum today. She's so humble. But Mignon Gelly, who's involved in the Bear River project coming up this weekend. But to go back to Payom, I know you're working on some exciting projects. Can you tell us a little bit about what you're currently doing?
Yeah, I can. So one of the things that Michael, we've been working on together is getting the source directory launched, and so now it's online, live. Anybody can go to the sourcedirectory.org and put their name in there and sign up. And what it is it's a community resource directory that links people within the Sacramento River watershed and helps them to see other people that are doing incredible work in this region and connect with them and figure out how they can really make a difference to make our region stronger.
And of course, we live in an age, I believe, of over-information and also false information, false news. So is this a printed directory? Is it online? And also, why is this different than anything people can Google or just kind of, look in the phone book or get a flyer for at an event?
That's a good question, Michael. So, yeah, it's online, thesourcedirectory.org. It's not printed. And it's different. It sets up a local network so that if you Google something, you might find results in a much broader region, but it's hard to find something specifically centered on your region, especially if you don't know exactly what you're looking for. If you don't know the name of it, our directory is set up. It's curated by different categories, and so you can go into those categories and see who's listed. You can also go, there's a map view for the search function, so you can see who's near you, and if they put their location information into their listing. So when you go to sign up, there's a few things that are important to have in there. If you can put your website, you can have a link to your website is critical for people getting in contact with you. If you don't have a website, you can put Facebook information in there. And an address. If you can put an address in there, then you'll show up on the map listing, which is really, really important. And then the other thing is you'll need an email address to sign up. That's the only thing you have to have in order to make a listing. And one last thing is if you can put some information in the About section, describing why what you're doing is supporting your local community or supporting your local economy or supporting your region in some way, whether you're protecting the environment or repairing damage that's been done or helping people, whatever it is that you're doing, that you're contributing. If you can put one sentence is all you need to talk about that, then people can see when they're looking through the directory. And if they search for something, one of the words in that About section might hit the search, and you'll come up
and
for that.
And also there's a listing of projects and events that are happening. So again, these are highly vetted. It's not just like, oh, come on out to Beer Fest in the park or come on over to Joe's T-shirt shop. These are really
That's right.
people and businesses and organizations that are doing work dedicated to community building, economic development, and environmental protection and restoration.
That's exactly right, Michael. And people can put events in there. There are events in there. Go and check out the events. There's blog listings where articles from around the region have been displayed, that articles that are relevant to protecting the region, making it stronger, managing our resources effectively, and it helps to connect people. It helps to bridge communities that might not already be having a conversation. Michael, you were telling me earlier today when you were down at the Earth Day festivities down in Sacramento that people really got it. They really understood that, yeah, we want to know what's happening in our region, and we want to know the other people that we can work with and maybe have answers that we're looking for.
Because sometimes you feel like we're alone against the world, or it's just us kind of with our project or our idea. But again, through this directory, it's a way to connect people, build bridges. And I know there's
to the internet and go there and sign up. If you have an email address, just put your name in there, put a little something about yourself, and see what you can find. Do a little searching
blogs.
around.
There's a lot of informational blogs.
There's blogs and events, and also let us know. Let us know what you think. You can email us at info@thesourcedirectory.org, or there's a little contact information if you want to contact us on the website. You just fill that out, and we'll get back to you. We want to know what you think. We want to know if it's working for you. Are there things that you like? So go check it out.
All right, Puyol Morales, civil engineer, hydrologist. Thank you so much for coming in today and bringing some science and some substance to Earth Day.
Yeah, thank you, Michael.
So we're going to go over to Kathleen Halal, who's been patiently on the phone from Non-Toxic Communities. So how are you doing today on this Earth Day, Kathleen? I'm doing good. It's been a busy day, lots of work to do, but I really want to give a world of appreciation and respect, because as much as I'm trying to promote many issues and get people educated and inspired, you have really focused on the concept of non-toxic communities. So can you let our listeners know a little more about what that is and some of the work you're doing? So where do we currently stand as far as a statewide ban on things like Roundup, and of course the nefarious player in that soup is the glyphosate, which I just attended the Roundup rally at the state capitol a few months ago, and I was really excited that we're actually making some progress, because it's really hard to completely politicize something as far as people's health, the wellness of children, the wellness of animals, the safety of food and water, but as I got there, I realized when I arrived there was no press, and then for actual meeting part, there was literally one legislational person who was there from the Capitol who listened for 30 minutes and basically looked at his watch and walked out. So, what's the current status here in California? Because we know, I mean, the science is all there. We're not going to get too heady today because we have a very short time. But what's happening on the statewide level, and how can people find out more about Roundup, the results of Roundup and glyphosate? I wish I had an applaud track for that. I would have played it. There really is. And speaking of good news, in just a moment we're going to have a performance with Mignon Gelly, a native artist, a flute player, and incredibly just active person. So, we're not going to just barrage you with details and facts today, but we're trying to give people what's happening, where are things now, and how can you get involved, and what's some solutions, things you can do in your own backyard and own home. So before we finish, again, what are some things, are there alternatives? Because everyone says, I gotta kill my weeds, I gotta get rid of those things. So is there an alternative of what people can do besides goats?
Wow. Wow. That is so amazing to hear. This is Point Morales. That's really encouraging to hear that you've switched over all that lawn to completely organic, and it's working beautifully. Yeah.
In his praise of Monsanto. And we'll be back in just a few minutes with Mignon Gelly and lots more here on Golden Road Radio, here on Community Radio, KVMR, Voice of the Community, Music of the World, and we got a great in-house performance with Mignon Gelly in just a couple minutes. Hope you're enjoying your Earth Day.
You didn't call it Resilience Radio?
What?
You didn't call it Resilience Radio?
No. No, someone else took that.
I know. Well, but on KVMR, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, how's your day? I don't know if you have a second. I can
Gotta make it,
Yeah, right.
give you
gotta
the
make it
fob
look
to
like I
open
do
the
something
door.
on there.
Give it to all your social
I'm
media.
so
followers.
dehydrated. It was 88 degrees.
Oh, yeah, right.
Grab us some mates, would you?
you want a mate?
Yeah, and grab one for Mignon. Mignon, would you like a drink?
Yeah.
Okay, ready, Mignon?
Yep, you're about to go. You're about to start.
Here we go. Hey, I like Safeway. They have some good organic produce there. So, again, you're listening to Golden Road Radio here, live on KVMR, around the world on kvmr.org. And we want to thank you for taking some time. Maybe you're sitting out there in the park enjoying the sunshine, some time with your family. I want you to keep in mind, it's Earth Day today, right? So it's a time to think about the elements, earth, water, fire, air. You know, we're all comprised of these elements on a very primordial level, and also science has proven that everything is vibrating and we're all connected and we're interconnected, whether you like it or not. So we're here trying to work out some ideas and some solutions to different issues. But before we do that, we want to keep the music going too, because we want to educate, but we also want to entertain, and we're very honored to have in the studio today. She's going to perform Mignon Gelly. So welcome, Mignon.
Hello, Michael. Thank you for having me again.
Again, we love you, and I know that you're all over the country because you also work with Buffalo Field Campaign, correct?
Buffalo Field Campaign, yeah. This will be my 6th year going on a Buffalo Field Campaign tour, which happens in the fall. We do a West Coast tour from Washington State through Oregon, and of course, Northern California, Southern California, and sometimes bits of Nevada.
And what is the Buffalo Field Campaign?
Buffalo Field Campaign is a nonprofit 501(c) organization that was founded in well, this will be the 21st year, so 21 years ago. It was founded by both Rosalie Little Thunder from South Dakota. I believe she was with the Rosebud Reservation. And also Michael Meese, a longtime activist, Michael Meese.
And you actually, you have a new album out, and you've actually done some work with, of course, John Trudell, a legend in not only the American Indian movement and Native issues, but a great human being and spiritual being.
Yes, that is true. So it all started out with having this connection with John Trudell several years ago, and we invited him to come up to Nevada County to perform for Indigenous Peoples Day. So we were able to hook him up, and I think it was in 2011 where he actually, we actually had a big, not concert, but it was at the Veterans Memorial in Grass Valley.
Wow.
And he was the headliner, speaker, presenter. So that was pretty awesome to
Great.
have him there.
Well, speaking of awesome, why don't you give us a little sample of some of your wonderful music, tell us what you're going to hear.
Okay.
And unless you're driving right now, we're going to invite you just take a moment, close your eyes, and really get in the spirit of this music, and let this sound kind of just be your connection to the earth right now on this celebration and honoring of the earth on Earth Day.
Right, so I think I'm going to play a song. It's an original. It's called Red Tail. And came up with this several years ago when actually a musician asked me to do an introductory flute solo to one of their songs. And so this is a version that took it further, Red
Great.
Tail.
Thank
And
you.
I have some beats to go with it.
All right,
that,
you're prepared. You've done this before.
I've done this
All right,
before.
okay, so here we go. Special in-studio performance with Mignon Getty.
Testing, testing.
Tail by Mignon Galley, live in-studio performance. Thank you so much. We do have some folks here. So we're gonna get back to Mignon in a minute, and we got a really super stacked show for you today. And at any point, I'm gonna invite you guys to chime in if you'd like to say something. But right now, I'm very happy and honored to have on the line. I believe, can you hear me, Kevin? All right, fantastic. We're in the mountains and we're making it work. Technology can work for the right cause. So just a quick intro for you. Of course, Kevin Donaher is one of the co-founders of the Green Festival, one of the world's largest and truly inside and out green festival. We can talk about that for a minute, Kevin, but more importantly, you're up there in Quincy and you have some exciting things happening. So again, I want to welcome all of our listeners here on KBMR and tell us a little bit about what you're up to. That's the name of a song, Quincy Women. It should be, right? There you go. I mean, it's moving. She's moving mountains. She's got you up in the woods. So, what are you doing right now? So, what are you doing up in Quincy with this whole world of experience and national traveling and organizations? Wow. Uh-oh, another parking lot turning into a garden. I sense something, a theme here. Well, and I have to say, an epiphany that just occurred to me too is, just yesterday we had this big town hall discussion about gun violence and violence in schools. And what I'm sensing, and this is just a off the cuff kind of epiphany and realization that, of course, there's a lot of psychiatric drugs that's involved with youth now, all of these different psychological disorders, and depending on people's and families and cultures, if they have been around guns or if they're for guns. But the thing is if we start taking these youth who maybe through video games or not having other creative outlets or losing that connection with nature, we could actually maybe offer that as a remedy towards violence. Let's do something creative. Let's get people out and doing things for the community with a sense of pride and self-esteem, leadership skill development, and feel the satisfaction of being a contributing member to their community and to their society, as opposed to right. Well, Kevin, I could talk with you all day, and I know that you're very involved with so many things. So I really appreciate you took some time out on this Earth Day. Of course, you're someone who's completely walking your talk through years of a successful Green Festival, but also what you're doing right there in your local community. So I really want to thank you for your time, for joining us today. And if people want more information or just insights or advisorship, how can they get in touch with you? Thank you so much, and a big shout out to KVMR here, because independent media is so vital and crucial and important to bring voices of the people. So have a great rest of your Earth Day, and I'm sure we'll be talking soon. All right, blessings.
It's not easy being green, having to spend each day the color of the leaves